Good afternoon and welcome to the Happy Half Hour with Leigh and Sandra. I am Leigh Kubin, Master Certified Life Coach and Weight Loss Coach. And Sandra Priestley, you want to introduce yourself?
I do. I'm a feng shui practitioner and I'm a coach for entrepreneurs.
Well, we get together once a week to talk about things that make us happy and ways to live a happy life because there are so many ways to do that. So, Sandra, what are you drinking today?
This is my favorite drink. I am drinking Empress Gin. It's Empress 1908 Gin. And it is from, well, I'm Canadian, so, I like to drink Canadian stuff, but it's from the Empress Hotel in Victoria, BC. And it uses, I'm just reading the label here, and it says it uses delicate butterfly pea blossoms to create its jewel tone. Like
It's purple.
So it's so beautiful. I just love it. And then it's like a deep purple, but then when you put it with, I'm just drinking it with tonic, but when you put it with tonic, it turns sort of light purple, and like, it's so pretty. So many different things you can do with it too. So it's my favorite fancy
So how does
schmancy.
the girl in Texas get her hands on that?
Can I bootleg it to you? I do not know. Can I ship you some? I don't know. I'll find out.
Oh,
Because
yes.
it is, it's so tasty. Best
Oh,
gin around.
I love gin. And I've never had purple gin.
Well, I hadn't either. But it's just, yeah, it's so pretty. And so many cool things.
Well, I am drinking a Bell Springs Merlot brought to me by one of my dear friends for Thanksgiving. And Bell Springs makes me very happy. It is my husband. It's one of our favorite wineries, and we have great memories driving out in the hill country for wine pickup day. And so I decided to open that for this episode. So cheers.
Yeah, cheers.
Cheers.
You know what's cool is both of us chose something to drink today that has like it's special, right? Like it's a special meaning to us. Like I love going to British Columbia, and it's one of my favorite places to go. And so, yeah, that's where this is from too. Plus, British Columbia is under a lot of water right now. And so, yeah, I figured that I would drink this today, but
Send them a little love.
yeah.
Yeah. So, speaking of sending love, what are we going to talk about today? What are some things to talk about to create a happy life?
You know what? So I posted today I rarely post on Facebook. I'm starting to a little bit more now, but usually I'm on Instagram more. And so today, as you know, I posted on Facebook this thing that I had just, I just saved and posted it on Facebook because I loved it. It was by Stephen Bartlett. I don't even know who the hell he is, but anyway, brilliant. Because, and I posted it and I got so many DMs. So, and comments below. And it was
I commented on it.
Yeah. And it was 7 sentences I wished I'd read sooner. And man, oh man, I was just thinking about how many years I thought, I worried about what people thought, how many years I wasted being in my head, and, how much easier it could have been had I allowed it to be. And so this was like, these 7 things were so good. So I thought we could chat about that today.
That sounds awesome.
Do you want me to read them?
Read them, yes.
Okay. All right. These were like so good. And what I loved about it is that so many people chose different ones, like which was their favorite or which was like the one that resonated the most. But so number 1 is, these hard times, this pain, these lessons, one day they'll be your strength, your awareness, your blessings. Oh, I love that one too. Number 2 is, stop expecting honesty from people who lie to themselves.
Ooh.
I know. Number 3 is you'll never look good trying to make someone look bad. Like, how true is that, hey?
That is so true.
Number 4, save your explanations for those that are determined to understand you. Give your silence to those that are determined to misunderstand you.
Mm-hmm. That one
Also,
spoke to me.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Number 5 is your life is too short to be unhappy 5 days a week in exchange for 2 days of freedom. And I just left my 23 and a half year government job or government career. And it was that one was one that really spoke to me. Number 6 is don't be upset from people don't be upset from people you don't respect. And I used to say that something similar to my kids all the time when they were growing up. And number 7 is life is not tiring. Wanting life to be a certain way, but not having the confidence to make it that way is tiring.
Yep.
Like, so good. Hey, like I saved it and I just reread it and thought, man, what else would I add to that? Judgment is not truth. That's the other one that I would add. Judgment is not truth. That's my favorite.
Correct. And I think, where would I be if I had known that as a 20-year-old?
Right.
You know? And and it's so funny because at 50, almost 50, I've got 2 months. The things that are coming up for me that I'm like, yes, those kinds of things that I see that resonate, and it's just affirmation that you're doing the right thing, you're on the right path. I see my kids getting in their 20s.
Oh, I know.
It is the coolest thing to see, because I think they're getting it now instead of waiting until 30s, 40s, almost 50. It's going to change the trajectory of their life.
I totally agree. I see my kids doing the same thing too. And I don't know, I mean, I've always talked to my husband, and I both have talked to our kids like they were adults from the time they were little, and always talking to them about energy and, very philosophical and spiritual.
Yep.
And so I feel like, I'm going to take credit for that, but no, but I seriously, I see such a shift in the millennials and this, like the young adults that are coming up. At work, we would often see people like the younger generation start work, be there for a little bit, and then just say, yeah, this isn't for me, I'm going to leave. And while it's a lot of work to onboard someone, it's a lot of work to train them. And so a lot of the other managers would say, we just got them here, and why would they do this? And why would they leave a government job with a pension and all this stuff? And I'm like, okay, that's awesome. High five. This is fucking fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
Like, because how often do we get stuck in positions or get stuck in jobs that we're staying stuck out of fear, right? We're staying somewhere that we may not really love, but we've stayed there for so long. We think, well, we got this pension and we have benefits, and what if something happened? And my advice always was to anyone that was coming in, if you don't like it now, you will not love it in 20 years.
Right.
Get out before someone convinces you that the pension is worth it, or get out before someone convinces you need these benefits. Mm-hmm. Find something you love, use your strengths, and go for it. Like, we have one life, Yeah.
I was in a job that initially I loved, and then I began to hate, and it stressed me out. And what kept me there was the amount of money that I was making. Oh, totally. And so I would be ready to quit and ready to find something new. And I'm like, oh, but you're never going to find anything that pays this much. And then I would get my check and I would go, okay, this is worth it. And it was that 2 days a week where you were just like, I'm off, but really one day, because Sunday was always dread for having to go back on Monday. And it was really interesting. It was a time of teaching and learning for me, because I was miserable, but the things that I was being taught, oh, I cherish today, that have helped me where I'm at right now. But I'm glad that I'm not in that position anymore. And what's interesting was we were bought out by a company, and they got rid of commissions. And so the pay structure dramatically changed, to the point it made it very easy to walk away, because, well, I can go anywhere. But those things teach us so much. And as long as we don't get bitter from them and appreciate the knowledge that we gained there, whether it's work related or spiritual related.
But and that goes, like, that's the very first, well, that's a couple of these, right? But the very first one of these 7 sentences I wish I'd read sooner was, these hard times, this pain, these lessons one day will be your strength, your awareness, your blessings. I don't regret anything I ever did. I don't regret the path that I took. I don't regret the mistakes that I've made. I don't regret staying. I don't regret going. Because I'm really so happy with where I am and where I'm going now, and all of the experiences that I cherish, whether they were good or bad, but I also feel like, well, I like to take risks too. Like I'm a risk taker. So, it was fun when people were saying, are you kidding me? You can't do that. And I'm like, watch me. Yes, I can. But I got to the space, like, and again, what is this? Number 5 was, life is too short to be unhappy 5 days a week in exchange for 2 days of freedom. I wasn't entirely unhappy, but I was massively fucking stressed. And I was working 10-hour days when I should have been working 7.5. And I was always, if I wasn't working, I was thinking about working, and it got to the point where I had a bit of a health scare, because, well, I'm a few months older than you, but I just turned 50 in October. And I had a bit of a health scare when I was 46. And it was all of a sudden, I thought, man, this is stress related. And I said to my husband, we can't any longer trade in our health for wealth. And it's not even, I was making that 6-figure salary, but I can make more than that on my own, right? Like it's like we tie ourselves to this belief that it's never going to work. And, it's super scary to be an entrepreneur and all the rest of this bullshit. And that's what holds us. That's what keeps us small.
It does.
And I got to this point where I just thought, I can't stay healthy and happy doing something that doesn't light my soul on fire. And I was absolutely trading my health in for the money that I was getting. And I was doing the exact same thing. I was thinking I was getting my check and going, okay, well, this is worth it. This is a good wage. This is a stable wage. This is a secure wage. It's COVID, like last year, it was like, people were like, you're thinking about quitting. Are you kidding me? And, so it was like a lot of back and forth of me, really trying to work through those limiting beliefs. So that, and everyone else's voices in my head. And I really had to lean into my intuition and lean into my inner millennial and go, no, this isn't for me anymore. Like, and I'm going to take a risk and I'm going to do what I love. So, yeah.
And it feels good, doesn't it?
It feels fantastic. Like fantastic.
Number 4 resonated with me. Like, that one, when I read it, I was like, yeah, will you read that?
Save your explanations for those that are determined to understand you. Give your silence to those that are determined to misunderstand you.
It is so interesting. Like what I have experienced, people that I know, people that I love, And they might not really understand where I'm coming from, what I'm doing. I should be in this little box somewhere being a teacher or a nurse or something normal,
legitimate or whatever. Yeah. Yeah.
And it's so interesting when people will ask me, what I think about careers, philosophy, any of that good stuff. And I tell them, and I can see the look on their face, like, what is wrong? And it's like, those are the people, love them, but I need to not have those conversations with. And we can have other conversations. But I think about over the years, how much time has been wasted trying to explain who and what I am to people that don't want to understand. And giving myself permission to just be silent. Sometimes when there might be a lecture towards me, and just sit and smile and kind of go, okay, you can feel that way, but I don't have to agree. Or defend myself. I used to, and I still do tend to try to explain myself because I want them to understand. I'm getting better at that. I'm working on that. But that is a huge, huge thing for me. And I think for us to be happy, we don't need to explain ourselves to everybody.
And I think we waste a lot of time trying to explain ourselves to the point where the people who are in opposition to us or don't understand, so that they now all of a sudden, like, we're trying to change their minds.
Right. Yeah.
But it's okay that we have different opinions. And it can just be that, and we see it right now, even in the world, right? So many people in different, like, whether it's political, like some sort of political statement, or so it's like, one side trying to shift the other person's beliefs instead of just agreeing. We can disagree. And let's just let it go, because we just waste our happiness, right? Like, it's just.
And I look forward to the day of getting back to that, because it used to be like that. It used to not matter. And I feel like we're going to get back there. I'm going to be there. And I know the people that I'm around, regardless if we agree politically, religiously, any of that, we find things that we agree on, and we talk about that.
Exactly.
Because that's where all the stuff is.
Absolutely. And I feel as though, I said this before, but man, oh man, I tell you, I was speaking with a astrologist one day, actually, because I'm into all the woo, right? Like, so you'll get a lot of that. But I was speaking to an astrologist when I first became a feng shui practitioner. And I was going out into homes and making magic happen. And I really worried about what people thought of me. More so than I think I ever should have. I worried about what they thought of me. I worried about if my kids would be judged because of working with energy and things. And I remember I was talking with this astrologer, and I thought I'd hid that pretty well, like that fear. And damn it, some of them, they can see through your stuff.
Yes, they can.
And so this astrologer said, what was holding me back was my fear of what others thought. And I thought, no, that's not true. No, like I was really still hiding this, right? I wasn't willing to look at that. And so I said, well, I'm not sure that I really do that. I think I'm okay. But I was really hiding most of my weird. And I wasn't that out there talking about astrologers. I was using astrologers or, talking to my psychic friends, but and psychic myself or intuitive myself, and relying on that, but not telling anyone. And one of the sentences that changed my life: judgment is not truth. And I just like it. it has literally changed my life. There's so many sentences that I've collected over the years that I love, 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 but that is probably it is one of my favorites. It's one that I tell my entrepreneurial coaches all the time. Judgment is not truth. And more so than that, it's my judgment of myself is also not true. Mm-hmm. It's not just someone else's judgment of me or my thought on that they're judging me. I could be wrong, right? Like
you could be making it up.
I totally could be full of crap.
Yep.
But, it's any judgment. Mm-hmm. Any judgment should just be seen as not true.
Well, and if it doesn't feel good, it's not coming from source.
Exactly.
The source within you is not ever going to be mean or say, oh, you can't do that.
Right.
Oh, never do that. That's all bullshit.
It's true.
But I do want to mention that how we met in 2010, maybe 2008.
Yeah, I think so, because it took me a while to do that course.
Sandra was in my feng shui training class, and she graduated in 2010. And what is so interesting to me is that you graduated, and we both kind of went in these directions. We both got into weight loss.
Yeah.
Both got into coaching.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like our lives, like we went our separate ways, so to speak.
Yeah.
I mean, you're in Canada, I'm in the United States, but we didn't really chat. We were friends on Facebook, but but the way our lives have gone, we're kind of in the same thing, which is how we got back together.
Yeah.
To come here, and it just fascinates me.
I know.
Because you went into weight loss and coaching.
Yeah. Yeah. And I do a lot of I do a lot of mindset, like lots, because let's face it, everything is mindset, right? 80% or more is mindset. And I love working with entrepreneurs. I love risk takers. So, type A's. And, but yeah, like I do a lot of life coaching, like a lot of coaching on any aspect of life, really. Like my one friend said, it doesn't matter what the problem, you can help. And that's probably because I'm not scared to go there.
Yeah.
But, and it's so, our lives are just like so parallel, and we're the same age.
And I never, ever knew that.
I didn't either.
I always thought that you were much younger than I was. I guess because your children were younger than ours were.
Oh, maybe. Yeah.
Maybe. So that's very interesting.
It wasn't my youthful, the youthful way that I typed.
It might have been. But I know we talked on the phone, but I just always thought that you were just a child.
No.
Who knew?
No. I'm feeling the aches and pains of any other 50-year-old.
Yeah, but the wisdom we have now. Now, I wish
that
we could have had it at 20. But the journey has been pretty fun.
Yeah, it has been. And I wouldn't trade it. But I would like pay anything to see what my kids will be like. Well, I mean, I will see. I won't have to pay. But like when my kids are 50, what are they going to do? What are they going to be? Who will like, because they have so much of the knowledge that I did not have in my, like when I was 17, my kids right now are 17 and 19. When I was 17 and 19, I was not this brilliant.
No, I was kind of dumb.
Yeah.
And by kind of, I mean a lot.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah. And it's just astounding to me. I think we put a lot of pressure on kids, like right from birth, these days, but it's astounding to me how emotionally intelligent they are and how much farther ahead they are than I was at their age. Like I can't wait to see what they're doing when they're 50.
What they know about themselves at this age floors me. I have 2 grandchildren, and it was occurring to me the other, I don't know, it might have been a month ago, when I was playing with them. My grandmother lived to be 95. We had her 95th birthday, and like on a Saturday, that following Saturday, she passed away.
Aww.
And it was unexpected, but not shocking. She wasn't ill, but I mean, she was 95 years old. And so she had a beautiful life. And it was occurring to me that I could potentially see my grandbabies at 50, maybe 47.
Wow.
And that kind of blew my mind to think, not only are you going to see the amazing things that your kids do with their lives, but you're going to get to watch these amazing little beings create theirs. And it just kind of like, my head just kind of popped open a little bit.
Yeah. Well, my grandmother passed at 94. So, the genes for both of us are good.
Yes. We can be doing this till we're 95, 94.
We can.
Well, come up with all kinds of new concoctions for drinks each week.
Yeah. For sure. But yeah, no, it's so true, right? Like what will life be like for them? Man, oh man, oh man. Super cool.
They can create anything they want and they know it. They didn't have to grow up to find out they were in charge of what they created.
Yeah. And I feel like, and maybe with social media too, for as much as we hammer the hell out of it being so, negative and things, I curate mine better than the news. I can't curate the news, but I can curate my social media so that it's all positive and it's, and I think if we can have our kids, if our kids can do that and see that that's possible, it's like following these people that are able to take risks and do what they love and focus on their strengths and all the rest of that good stuff. Like, man, oh man, oh man, it's going to be an amazing life. I really talk to my kids about that all the time. Like, really focusing on the good, focusing on the positive, even when something really shitty happens, always, leaning into that this too shall pass. And it will be so much more amazing when it happens, right? That you come through it.
But when the shitty things happen, don't you find that there is something happy in that shitty occurrence?
Always.
I mean, sometimes you don't see it walking through it. And then on the other side, you're like, holy hell, like what a gift. Like that sucks going through it. But what a gift that it was an experience. And we're here to experience things.
Yeah. And I think a lot of times when I've gone through things that I thought, oh man, this is super heavy, it's always been almost like a gift from the universe, because I wasn't, or they, or my kids, or my husband, or whoever was not on the right path. And we've like decided to up level, and then a bunch of crap happens. But what happens is it's like a volcano that erupts in order to settle where we're meant to go. It's like to get us, we had somehow stumbled onto the wrong path. Sometimes we need to hit that brick wall and it hurts in order to get us on the right path.
But was it really the wrong path, or was it the way you got to the path
maybe it's just the learning, it's the learning that we get from it too, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, it's always for the greater good, for sure.
Yeah. Sometimes we need reminders of that.
Yeah.
Doesn't necessarily feel like it in the moment, but on the other side it does. I went to, she wasn't an astrologist. I don't know what she was. She kind of read energy. Call herself that. But we were kind of going through my life, and she goes, Leigh, you can handle the tomatoes. And I'm like, what the fuck does that mean?
Yeah.
Who's throwing a tomato at me? And I had never heard that expression before.
Me neither.
But she's like, when, like if you were in a play in olden days and people don't like your performance, they throw tomatoes at you.
Yeah.
And that stuck with me. I don't know what about that. I mean, it just resonated with me. So that because I was a lot like you when I started first practicing feng shui, the kids were little. And I was very secretive about it and tried to disguise it, followed everything, but I tried to, I've got to need a red kitchen, so I'll put chili peppers so no one will know, and do little tricky things like that.
Yeah.
And then finally, I was just like, this is what I do. And some of the women at the kids' school did not like it. In fact, they told people I was a witch.
What?
Yes.
Oh, gosh.
It was, yeah. But it was really interesting because it didn't impact me. I kind of laughed about it, and I had Stacy's words in my head. You can handle the tomatoes. So it almost made me bolder.
Yeah.
I think.
I love it.
Mm-hmm.
I love
But
it.
all those things in life lead
Yeah.
us to the next thing. And then there's things that we hear from people that give us strength in our moments
Totally.
where we need it. When we might not have had that strength, had we not had those words from that random.
It is so true. And, really, like, what I find intriguing and what I love is I love to be the person who says something. I strive to be always the person who says something that the person that I'm speaking with will remember forever, will change them forever. I love being the one that people will like quote me later on. Just like I quote this random astrologer that most times I can't even remember her name, who said judgment is not truth. Like, it was life-changing for me. Eckhart Tolle, life-changing for me. Don Miguel Ruiz, life-changing for me. But also like friends of mine who just randomly come up with some beautiful statement that I hold with me forever. And I aspire to be that for people. I love the idea that there might be something I've said that a person will hold forever,
Yeah. That needs to be our goal.
It needs to be our goal. Yes, I love it.
So this week, as we go out and live our life, let's try to do that.
Sounds
good. If that's all we do, I think it's enough.
I think it is more than enough. Yes, I love that. I love that. Oh, so much fun.
Well, I think our happy hour is just about over, but this was fun.
It was. I can't wait till next week.
I know. Wonder what we're going to drink next week.
I do not know. I
don't know that I can top purple gin.
It's pretty special. It's pretty special. I mean, I know. I don't know that I can top it. I was just celebrating. I celebrated my retirement with Dom Perignon champagne.
Oh, yes.
So it was, I said the very first glass was not that good, but by the third glass, by gosh, it was amazing. And then we celebrated another retirement with a second bottle. And I was saying to my husband, okay, dang, fourth glass, pretty good. It's like, now what can we celebrate Saturdays with this champagne?
Now, do you have like a case of it at your house?
I wish. I need to have like like a cellar, a champagne cellar.
Well, that's your goal.
Yeah. That's my goal. Yeah. But I do have the box. It's sitting in my office over here. So it's like, yes.
You're going to have to do something with it.
I will.
Because that's a special kind of a box on many levels.
It
represents. But it doesn't need to be empty.
That's true.
To fill it with.
Yeah.
Well, thank you guys for joining us for the Happy Half Hour with Leigh and Sandra. And we will see you guys next week.
Bye. This was fun.